Hi there. Today we are doing lesson number 44. God is the light in which I see. Today we are continuing the idea for yesterday, adding another dimension to it. You cannot see in darkness and you cannot make light. You can make darkness and then think you see in it, but light reflects life and is therefore an aspect of creation. Creation and darkness cannot coexist, but light and life must go together, being but different aspects of creation. So keep in mind that light is what God is. Light is what illuminates everything. It's because of light that all that is created has been created, because it's the founding principle of love. It's the light in which love can be experienced, can be seen, can be felt, can be again experienced. There is no source of darkness. We don't have dark power plants. We don't have dark rivers, sources of darkness that flows to us. That does not exist. So darkness is always the absence of light. When you're thinking with your ego, your mind goes dark because you're blocking the light. So the darkness, the fears, that is what we are seeing as the blocks to what God has created. So again, it's really important that we understand here, you cannot see in darkness and you cannot make light, because the light has already been made by God and darkness is an obstacle. And once we are blocked by darkness, we cannot see in it. Paragraph 2. In order to see, you must recognize that light is within, not without. So think of your mind, the consciousness that you are, as the light that is projecting outward. If you think of an old movie camera at the movie theater, there is a light bulb that allows for what is in the movie or whatever film gets put in there to be seen on the screen. So your mind is like that light that allows anything that you put in front of it to be seen. But when you block that light with fear, with ego, it doesn't matter that you have a beautiful movie that could be playing out, you cannot see it because it's been blocked. So you do not see outside of yourself, nor is the equipment for seeing outside you. An essential part of this equipment is the light that makes seeing possible, the light that is in you. It is with you always, making vision possible in every circumstance. So we're coming to the place of having to acknowledge that the light in us, that brilliance in us, that is the mind that we're utilizing. It is the knowingness that we can tap into. It's what the Holy Spirit helps us access, is the light inside of us, so that we can be able to illuminate what it is that we're experiencing and have the ability to really see truly what is out there. And what is out there, again, is because it would be coming from what is inside of us. So if you're a loving being projecting your light, you're going to see loving beings everywhere. You're going to see opportunities to be helpful, to be compassionate, to be kind. You won't be able to judge those who are in the darkness, because you will recognize that they are nothing but light blocked. So that's why they remain innocent. And in that innocence that you know about yourself, you project to the others. Now there's no more attacking taking place, because the light of awareness has been turned on in you. It's always been on. You're not blocking it, but now you're becoming aware that it is what you are, because God is the light in which we see. That light in you is God in you, period. Paragraph 3. So today we're going to attempt to reach that light. Isn't that exciting? For this purpose, we will use a form of exercise which has been suggested before and which we will utilize increasingly. It is a particularly difficult form for the undisciplined mind. Again, the mind that has not been disciplined. This is where you have decided what you want to think. That's a disciplined mind, one that I, as the presence of awareness, am aware of this thought versus that thought, fear thought, love thought, real thought, fake thought, thought of Connection, thought of disconnection. When I am aware that I have these two paths I can go down on, now my mind can be disciplined. But my mind can't be disciplined when I'm used to just the habitual thinking of the past, the reactive thinking, the protective thinking, the righteous thinking. You don't have a trained mind because ego has blocked the light, which is why you are in the dark about the power that is inside of you. So let me read this again. Sentence 3, paragraph 3. It is a particularly difficult form for the undisciplined mind and represents a major goal in mind training. It requires precisely what the untrained mind lacks. So we're being told right now in this lesson, we're going to be given the tools to discipline our mind. Yet this training must be accomplished if you are to see. If you don't practice this, it ain't going to happen. You will remain in the dark, which means you'll remain unconscious and asleep. Yes, you'll know a lot about spiritual things, but your ego mind will use all the spiritual information to continue to project, but you won't know the light that you are, which means you won't know your wholeness, your perfection, your innocence. You won't know your power because you will see people out there as able to take it from you or attacking you or not nice. You will see fearful things, which means your mind is blocked. Paragraph 4. Have at least 3 practice periods today, each lasting 3 to 5 minutes. A longer time is highly recommended, but only if you find the time slipping by with little or no sense of strain. Do not strain yourself doing these exercises because the ego is not going to be happy that you're training your mind, so don't strain yourself. The form of practice we will use today is the most natural and easy one in the world for the trained mind, just as it seems to be the most unnatural and difficult for the untrained mind. And again, the untrained mind is a mind that sees the world today through the lens of the past. This is where you are comparing to what you want based on what you had or what you didn't have. And everything is about being right. That's how you know your ego is active. You have to be right about what you believe because it's all that is in your projector. It's what you recorded and it's what you're projecting from. And we don't want to be wrong about that because wrong always felt like a punishment. It felt bad. So I'm going to invite you to get okay with feeling bad about what you believe because what you believe is wrong. Get excited that what feels uncomfortable is just you're tapping into blocks to truth. So there's an opportunity for you to retrain your mind with truth. And only then will you find your peace, and only then will you really experience life as fun and easy. So it's really worth it to do this work. Paragraph 5. Your mind is no longer wholly untrained. And the reason it's no longer wholly untrained is because you've gotten through 43 lessons so far. This is 44. There's a training that is happening clearly. All of your years on your spiritual journey have been training you to believe that there is another way. So this is a good reminder. Your mind is no longer wholly untrained. You are quite ready to learn the form of exercise we will use today, but you may find that you will encounter strong resistance. The reason is very simple. While you practice in this way, you leave behind everything that you now believe. And all the thoughts that you have made up, we're going to leave them. We don't want them. We don't want to think the old way anymore. You don't want to think how your mother, father, teacher, preacher, the government, the media taught you. It's all wrong. It's insane. It's a block to what you do want to believe. Properly speaking, this is the release from hell. I love that line. Properly speaking, this is the release from hell, from an untrained mind. Yet, perceived through the ego's eyes, it is loss of identity and a descent into hell. This is why if you get comfortable with the discomfort, your ego will not convince you that what you're doing is hell. Because the ego is the hell that it doesn't want you to escape from. So it's going to tell you that moving towards peace, moving towards training your mind is hell. But that is not true. This is why it requires an incredible amount of vigilance to shift our thinking. It requires an incredible amount of practice to sit with the churning and the burning of the ego truth burning, hurting, and you experiencing the anger of having believed things that were not true, experience the discomfort, the suffering, the pain of having been mistaken and realizing that you created your life with erroneous information. So there's got to be a level of kindness and acceptance as you move through this practice, because it is very clear the ego is going to do everything it can to prevent you from seeing that you are in hell by telling you that getting out of there is what will make hell. Paragraph 6. If you can stand aside from the ego by ever so little, a tiny little sliver of willingness to see differently, you will have no difficulty in recognizing that its opposition and its fears are meaningless. Every single time you are justifying the world of form, justifying the world of attachments, of safety being outside of you, you are justifying something that is meaningless. And now, those things that you held so dear before, that the world told you was the real goal that you were achieving, now you're going to have to see that it is not. That's going to feel very uncomfortable. You're going to feel like you've been bamboozled all this time. You've been taught this wrong information. That is just the ego wanting to take you further down into hell. Just recognize there was mistaken information that you've been operating from, and now you want to have the correct information. Keep it simple. Keep it moving forward. Keep choosing again. Keep doing the exercises. Keep being willing to see things differently by reminding yourself that the peace that you have felt each time that you have chosen to think with God instead of with the ego, that you want more of that peace. We want to string more of those pearls on your necklace. You want the whole necklace. Be selfish. Don't settle for just a couple of strands of pearls. Go for the whole freaking thing, which means give yourself permission to feel this peace over and over and over again, even though the peace comes after feeling an incredible amount of discomfort. Let's keep going. Paragraph 6, sentence 2. You might find it helpful to remind yourself from time to time that to reach light is to escape from darkness, whatever you may believe to the contrary. Tell yourself, going into the light is an end of the darkness. God is the light in which you see. You are attempting to reach Him. You're attempting to reach God. You're attempting to reach love, joy, truth, peace. That is the work that we're on. Paragraph 7. Begin the practice period by repeating today's idea with your eyes open and close them slowly, repeating the idea several more times. Then try to sink into your mind, letting go every kind of interference and intrusion by quietly sinking past them. This is a week of letting go of illusions. We're letting go of blocks to light. We're letting go of the things that had tempted us before into believing, making us believe that our safety, our joy existed outside of us. Let me read this again. Then try to sink into your mind. You're going to be comfortable with the thoughts. You're going to just say, I can handle this. Letting go every kind of interference and intrusion by quietly sinking past them. It's like you're going to dive into your mind, and all these obstacles, all these thoughts that are uncomfortable, you're just going to go swim past them and sink down to the bottom. And when you rest down at the bottom of that pool, at the bottom of that pond, those things are merely obstacles that you're just observing, and you're not attaching any meaning to them. You're just letting them go. Let the current take them. Let them go. Your mind cannot be stopped in this unless you choose to stop it. Your mind will move down to the bottom if you decide, I am the presence of awareness, choosing to be aware of the thoughts that are in my mind. I have love and I have fear. I have ego and I have essence of God. And I'm just going to let them all go. Right now, I just want to feel myself as one who can observe those thoughts. Try to observe your passing thoughts without involvement and slip quietly past them. Let them be there. Don't go in there trying to get rid of your negative thoughts, your ego thoughts. Don't do that. This is the hardest lesson, truly, to prepare you, to train your mind, is to be with those thoughts and let them be. Let them go past you. Don't analyze them. Don't think about them. Don't focus on them. Paragraph 8. While no particular approach is advocated for this form of exercise, what is needful is a sense of the importance of what you are doing, its inestimable value to you, and an awareness that you are attempting something very holy. To sit as a presence of awareness, aware of the thoughts in your mind that are swimming by, it is truly holy. Because when you can be aware of your thoughts and know you're not your thoughts, you are returning to the awareness that you are the holy being that God is, expressing itself through you. You really begin to tap to the goodness, the Godness in you. Sentence number 2, paragraph 8. Salvation is your happiest accomplishment. What are we saving ourselves from? Crazy thinking, insane thinking, wrong thinking. It is also the only one that has any meaning, because it is the only one that has any real use to you at all. Salvation is the only meaning, is the only useful thing. Paragraph 9. If resistance rises in any form, pause long enough to repeat today's idea, keeping your eyes closed unless you're aware of fear. In that case, you will probably find it more reassuring to open your eyes briefly. Try, however, to return to the exercises with eyes closed as soon as possible. So you're in your space and you are recognizing that God is the light in which you see. And then all of a sudden you get this fearful thought, oh no, I'm going to disappear. This scares me. And you begin to get anxious. Open your eyes. So God is the light in which I see. A fear comes in. You can't just be aware of it and stay behind it, watching it, so that it can move, because there's going to be more thoughts that are going to come behind it. That's why you're letting those thoughts move. And then all of a sudden fear gets activated, anxiety. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Reground yourself. I'm safe. These are thoughts in my mind that are activating fear, but who I am is safe. Let me come back and dive down into that pond, into that pool, and rest in there as the presence of awareness of thoughts moving by, like little fish moving by. That's what you want to let your thoughts do, both positive and negative, ego thoughts and love thoughts. Let them go. We're training ourselves to be the holy being that is the presence of awareness, aware of thoughts, because only then can we begin to choose which thoughts we're going to believe. Paragraph 10. If you are doing the exercise correctly, you should experience some sense of relaxation and even a feeling that you are approaching, if not actually, entering into the light. When you feel yourself as a presence of awareness, you will feel, once you really practice at this, that you are the light that gets to see what's happening. And when you get to see what's happening, you will know not to go to the ego side. You will move in the direction of only what is real. This process takes time, but we have to begin to enter into this light so that we can begin to make our way to knowing that we are one with it. Sentence number 2, paragraph 10. Try to think of light, formless and without limit, as you pass by the thoughts of this world, and do not forget that they cannot hold you to the world unless you give them the power to do so. It's like you're turning on your light so that you can see what's happening, and you're no longer going to let obstacles block you, because you'll see them as obstacles. You'll just move around them. So paragraph 11. Throughout the day, repeat the idea often, with eyes open or closed, as seems better to you at the time. But do not forget. Above all, be determined not to forget today that God is the light in which you see. Thank you so much for doing this lesson, and know that you are training your mind to become the one that chooses your thinking. Once you choose your thoughts, you're not at the mercy of your ego anymore. It takes time to do this. It took me years, but I'm sure you'll be able to do it a lot sooner because of your commitment to doing these lessons and remembering that you are the light in which you see everything, because God is the light that you get to see with. Having that awareness, which I didn't have when I started this journey, having that awareness will assist you tremendously. I came to know that that was the truth, but I did that in many ways blind to that I was tapping into the God that light, the light that God sees with, for me, because it is the light that God is. So thanks again, and have a magnificent day. See you in the next lesson.